Hey there, crewmates. Gabe from Nexus Core here, continuing on with our discussion over One Piece Set 3 Pillars of Strength, going over the purple cards and our new Iceberg leader. I think it's a very funny choice to choose Water 7 and Gali Law as a deck, but who am I to judge? In any case, I'm just as excited to talk about this one as I am with East Blue because, as we're about to find out, we come with a very novel leader, much like Nami as well. Purple is one of my favorite colors, and I was very disappointed with the Magellan support in set 2, and I'm actually quite excited for this one. But without further ado, we will start off with the man himself, Iceberg. 5k Wisdom Attribute, Water 7, and Galileo Company. This leader cannot attack. This is the first time we've seen something like that, a leader that is just there for his effect and nothing else. However, his effect is active during the main phase. You may go Dawn -1. You may rest this leader, play up to one character with the Golly Law Company typing with a cost of 5 or less from your hand. Already very interesting. Being able to cheat out 5 costs for free just going Dawn -1 is very good. If you have an attacker, you can give it a Dawn to attack with and then return that Dawn, so you can at least get something out of it, or you can just pay like a 1 cost and then return it to play something else. This is very good, and being able to get 5 costs out very early, I think is going to be quite powerful. It really will depend, though, on the quality of these 5 costs. First off, as a 5 cost, we have Kaku, 5 cost, 6k slash attribute, counter 1000, water 7, Galley Law Company. On attack, Dawn -1, this character gets banish. I'm not in love with this personally. It's a good stat line. It's a 5/6 counter 1000, cheatable off of Iceberg. So it's already going to be seeing play for that alone. It's just, if you've been watching the channel for a while, I'm not super impressed by banish or double attack on mid to low power cards. However, because this is cheatable off of Iceberg, I think it does warrant its own consideration, because theoretically, based on your hand composition, turn 1, you could just return the Dawn to play this as on your very first turn, and then use Kaku's effect to get banished immediately, maybe before your opponent has the chance to set blockers up. Yes, you are going to be going Dawn -2 within the first 2 turns of the game, but it is something that is available to you to really start banishing your opponent early on. Next, we have Khalifa, 4 cost, 4k, Wisdom Attribute, counter 2000, Water 7, Galley Law Company, counter 2000, so it's already good. On attack, you may go Dawn -1, draw 2, discard 1. Great card, frankly. It's basically the queen from the starter deck. However, it doesn't have blocker. However, it is on attack, so it is recurable. It is a firm +1 in purple, so it's already good, and it has that counter 2000. So this is a great card, easily worth running at 4. Next, we have Kiwi and Mozu, vanilla. It's a 2 cost vanilla, nothing to say. First, we have Kokoro, 1 cost, 2k, wisdom attribute, counter 1000, mermaid, and water 7 typing. On play, look at the top 5 of your deck, reveal a water 7 other than herself, add to hand, bottom of the rest. It's a Nami clone. It is a 4 of. It adds consistency to purple that Kaido has been desperately clamoring for since the release, and this existing already makes it really good. It also means you have a really good turn 1. Play Kokoro, search something, Iceberg, Dawn -1, cheat it out. It depends on, I don't know if the deck is going to want to go Dawn -1 on turn 1, but it is again an option available to you. Next, we have Zombie, 3/2 counter 0, water 7, and Frankie family typing. So this is not cheatable off of Iceberg, unfortunately, and but it is searchable off of Kokoro. This is already a thing. I just noted that it's kind of weird. Iceberg only cheats out Golly Law. Kokoro only search out water 7. Fortunately, Kaku and Khalifa are both, but there are going to be, as we're going to see, instances like this where it's going to be one or the other. Anyways, 3/2/0 counter water 7 Frankie family blocker on play Dawn -1 if your leader has the water 7 typing, draw 1. I don't know how to think about this. It's has blocker, so it is nice, but Sasaki for Beast Pirates is a 3/4 with the Dawn -1, draw 1, and that isn't really seeing any play. Yes, it doesn't have blocker, but it does have counter with it, and it has better stats, so you can attack with it too. I'm not going to be quick to write it off. I'm just unimpressed is all I can really say. Then we have Tilestone, our next 5 cost, so cheatable off of Iceberg. 5/6 striker, counter 1000, water 7, Galley Law typing. On KO, if your leader is a Galley Law typing, add up to 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck and rest it. Fantastic. Genuinely fantastic. Because we're seeing that this deck is going to be wanting to cheat out a bunch of 5 costs by going Dawn minus, it's seeming like it will be a purple equivalent to something like Zora, where you're going to want to be playing a lot of cards. And because of that, the counter to this deck is going to be attacking into your opponent before they have attacking into your opponent's characters, so they do not have a board state to attack you with all of these massive 5 cost 6k cards. So because it does something on death when it is likely to be an attack target, getting that Dawn out of it is already really good. Also, it's Dawn ramp in purple. You have to really be failing to make a Dawn ramp in purple bad. Next, though, we have Chimney and Gonbei, 2/2 counter 1000, animal and water 7 typing, so it's not cheatable off of Iceberg, though it's a 2 cost, so it doesn't matter. She is a blocker. It's a low cost blocker. It's just Black Maria, but for water 7, so it's also searchable off of Kokoro, so this is already good, easy four of. Next, we have Polly. Well, they went off for Polly's alt art. What did he do to deserve that? Anyways, he's a 5 cost cheatable off of Iceberg, 6k strike attribute, no counter, water 7, and Galley Law, so fortunately it's also searchable off of Kokoro. On play, pay 2, add 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck as active, then if you have 8 or more Dawn, play KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. I'm mixed on this. I do think it's good. However, because you have to go Dawn minus for Iceberg, you are not going to be using this in the early game. Because if you have 8 Dawn and you cheat him out with Iceberg, then you'll only have 7 Dawn. So, oh, wait a minute. Because he Dawn ramps you too. This is definitely a good card. The 8 or more stipulation is a bit rough. However, at the same time, it's cheatable off of Iceberg. And because it Dawn ramps you one, that's actually a break even provided you pay the cost. And it is Dawn ramping in purple that comes with a KO of something attached. So this is, I actually take back what I said, this is actually a very, very good card. Next, though, we have Peeply Lulu. We really are scraping for characters in this, and I love to see it. It's a 5 cost, 5k, ranged attribute, counter 1000, Galley Law, water 7, so cheatable off of Iceberg, searchable off of Kokoro. Dawn 1 on attack if your leader is a Galley Law. Set up to one of your Dawn from your Dawn deck as I don't know how to talk. Add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it. Fantastic. 4 of, never run any less. It's cheatable off of Iceberg, and when it attacks, it pays for itself. And because it's on attack, it is theoretically recurrable every turn, and it's only Dawn 1, which you would probably be doing anyways. This is a fantastic card. Next, we actually are having more Impel Down support with Mino Zebra. So we're actually going to be completing the cycle of the Jailer Beasts that are cheatable off of whatever the Dominatrix lady is, Sadie. 4 cost 5k strike attribute, 1 counter, Impel Down and Jailer Beast typing, banish. And if your leader is an Impel Down, on KO, add a Dawn from your Dawn deck as rested. This is fine. You're going to be cheating it off of Sadie, so it has decent stats to go with it, and it has an on KO ability, which you would like on a decent statted card. It's not going to be making Impel Down meta, but it makes Jailer Beast an interesting engine. Then we have Mino Rhinoceros, 3 cost 5k, no counter, Impel Down, Jailer Beast typing. On KO, if your leader is an Impel Down, draw 2, discard 1. This is great. It's a 3/5, which is a good stat line with an on KO effect that's also quite good. So this is great. Then we have, I think, what is actually pretty surprising. We have a purple Luffy, who is a 6 cost, so it's not cheatable off of Whitebeard. 7k strike attribute, water 7, so it's at least searchable off of Kokoro. Straw Hat Crew typing. On play, Dawn -1, you may trash a character with the cost of 5 specifically from your hand. This character gains Rush. I don't know what to think about this, honestly. It's decent statted. It's giving Rush to purple, which is already good. There's so many 5 costs as we can see, so being able to use its effect is not unlikely. It just kind of blows that it's not cheatable off of Iceberg, but that might be how you balance it. I think this is pretty decent, though. It's just another decent card to run. And rounding out our characters, we do have Rob Lucci, who is a 5 cost 6k strike attribute, counter 1000, water 7, and galley lock company, so cheatable and searchable. On attack, Dawn -1, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 5 or less. This is fun. Being able to ignore blockers functionally is already quite good. Only for Dawn -1 too, so that's actually quite solid. And it's also cheatable off of Iceberg for a 5/6. So this is a solid card. Not really much to say about that. And then we have Gum Gum Gent Gatling, another zero cost event. I think this is the second one we've ever seen. Water 7, Straw Hat Pirate Crew typing, so it is searchable off of Kokoro. Uh, Counter, you may trash one card from your hand. Your character or leader gets 3k for the battle, and trigger add a Dawn as active from Dawn deck. I think this is fine. I don't know if it's going to see play. On the one hand, it is a zero cost in purple, which is pretty good because of how many big things there are, and because Dawn minusing exists. However, it's 3k for 2 cards, and it doesn't have an additional effect to go alongside it. It makes sense like this for blue when Ivankov like to be discarding, but I don't think purple likes that enough, so I don't know if this is going to be seeing play. Then we have Hull Dismantling Slash. It is a 1 cost event, water 7, so searchable off of Kokoro, Frankie family typing. Main phase, Dawn -1 if your leader is water 7. KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less. Trigger, activate its main effect. I don't care for this personally. It's a KO of a low cost blocker, which is good, but having the Dawn -1 attached isn't phenomenal. I think it's going to be seeing play because you can KO low cost cards, which is always good, especially against decks like Zoro. But actually, the Dawn -1, you can just return the Dawn that you paid for its own cost, I believe. So this is actually pretty solid. I take back what I said. This is why I like going over the cards for the first time as I see them and doing them in video, because I can catch myself on things like this. I think this is decent. I wouldn't be surprised if it saw no play. I wouldn't be surprised if it saw some play. I think it is a fine card. Fine is the best word for it. Then we have Top Knot, 2 cost, water 7, galley loss, searchable off of Kokoro. Dawn -1, return up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less to the bottom of its opponent's deck, and trigger, activate its main effect. So this is effectively a upgraded version of the previous one we just saw. It costs a little bit more, but you can also hit a little bit more. So again, I think this is fine, just a solid card. Being able to hit 4 costs, I think, matters. And lastly, to round it out, we have a stage. 3 cost, Galley Law Company, water 7, and Galley Law Company typing. Main phase, you may rest this stage. If your leader is Iceberg, add a Dawn from your Dawn deck and rest it. It is Onigashima that is searchable off of Kokoro. Why didn't Bandai just make a Beast Pirate Searcher? Why does Iceberg get a searchable Onigashima and Kaido doesn't? But it's I don't know what to say besides the 3 words searchable Onigashima. That's 2 words. Whatever. It's fantastic. It is so good and it's so good in this deck. There are no words to describe how amazing this is. So, if you couldn't tell, I'm very excited for this. I'm very tempted to build it and keep my purple decks going. I do have a friend, however, who is interested in building, so I might just leave it up to him. I'll feature him on the channel. But this deck just makes me so excited. I really love this deck, and I'm very interested in seeing what it's able to do. In any case, let me know what you think down below. Let me know what other weird leader you're expecting to see in upcoming sets, because I don't think any of us ever would have expected Iceberg. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video going over all the black cards.